Alright, now that you have the Unreal Engine downloaded, let's go ahead and create our first project. So I'm going to go ahead and open the launcher. I'm just going to use the Windows key and then type in Unreal. And you can type in Unreal or you can do the Epic Games Launcher. Find that, hit enter, and it should open the launcher for you. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Unreal Engine within here and then go to Library. Now every time you load this up, it might look a little bit different. They update this launcher quite a bit, so it might look a little bit different the next time that you go to open this up. Here's the different engine versions that you've got. I've been using this for a while, so I've got quite a few different engine versions. You're probably only going to have one listed within there. So you're probably going to go ahead and be able to tell it to download directly from there, or if you need, you can go ahead and hit this install new version of the Unreal Engine. That should give you an empty slot like what you saw there. So I'll go ahead and click that, and this will add a slot within here. Now I've got one of the latest versions of the engine and quite a few in the back, so it's going to tell me here's all the different versions from the past that I can kind of load up. So let's say I wanted to do 4.15.3, I'd hit that and click install. So you should see something very similar to that. So go ahead and get the latest version and hit the install button. Once you have that done, it's either going to auto load the engine for you, or you're going to have to come up here and launch the engine. So if you've got multiple versions of the engine, you can go ahead and click the triangle within here, choose the engine version that you're going to want to use, and go ahead and click launch. So I'll click launch on that, and it'll go ahead and open up. And it might take a little bit of time the first time that you open this up. Sometimes it's got to compile some shaders and do a few other different little things. The first time that you load up, you might see something like this. Here's all the different projects that I've got. So whenever I open up a new version of the engine and I've got older projects, if I click on this, it's going to try to convert it over to whatever that new version of the engine is. But you're going to be doing something like this. You're going to go to this tab that says New Project. And within here, there's a bunch of different templates that we can use. And you can see that there's a first person, flying, there's rolling, side scroller. If you click on each one, it's going to give you a little visual indicator of what that project might look like. You've got a twin stick shooter. There's a VR project, vehicle. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and have you create a third person template. So we'll click on that, and that's going to give us a character that runs around in the middle of the screen, has a camera that kind of follows behind on that. These are the different options that you can use for whenever you create this. So if you're going to do desktop versus mobile, if you're going to do maximum quality or the scalable 3D, 2D, I'll just leave this on maximum quality. This is with the starter content. So if you choose to have starter content, then it's going to go ahead and have models, materials, particle systems, all kinds of cool content that you can just drag in and start looking at and start playing around with. So if it's your first time using the engine, I'd probably suggest that you use the starter content. If you know what you're doing and you've been using the engine for a little while and you want to make a custom project and you don't want any thing clogging up your project, you would say no starter content, and that would just make a blank project for you. I'm going to go choose with starter content. Here's where it's going to throw your stuff. So it's going to choose your username on the C drive and go under documents, and it's going to make a folder called Unreal Projects. And that's where it's going to store all the different projects that you want. If you want to change the location of that, go ahead and click this browse for a folder, and you can change that within there. And then you can give your project a name. So I'm going to do third person project like this, and go ahead and say create project. And I'll go through and it'll actually create all the files that are necessary for the project, and it'll open it up. And sometimes it takes just a little bit of time to go through and initialize, but this should be pretty quick. And you can see here we are in the third person template. The first thing I like to do for a project is just store a camera view for yourself. So if you just click and drag with the left mouse button and we hit Control 1, that will set a camera view. And so if we click and drag over here, and I'm going to do the first mouse button and the right mouse button and just pan over this way, I'm going to hit Control 2, and I'm going to just click with the left mouse to rotate, and I'm going to add the right mouse with the left mouse and pan over this way just a little bit, and I'll hit Control 3. Now, holding down Control and hitting one of those numbers will set a bookmark for you. So now that those bookmarks are made, you can tap the 1, 2, and 3 key on the keyboard. The next thing that we'll do is just jump into the game real quick. So we'll just hit play, and we can use the arrow keys to move forward and kind of rotate around like this. You can also use WASD to kind of move around like that. Spacebar will jump, and you can use your mouse to kind of look around. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here. I'm going to hit escape like that and move this back around here. One more thing about playing. So as we're playing, if you hit F11, you can do a full screen mode, and if you want to get rid of the Windows bar at the bottom, if you see that, you can hit Shift F11. And so as we hit escape to go out of here, if you want to go back into the editor mode, just tap F11 again, and then you're back into that mode. Tap 1, 2, or 3 to go to your camera views that you've stored. And that'll be something very simple and very basic for you to go ahead and create your third-person project and start walking around and taking a look at what is in the world.